24 logical fallacies and 24 cognitive biases by the School of Thought, presented by myself. You can check out these deck of cards. It actually comes in at schoolofthought.org or yourfallacyis.com. Starting with the straw man, if you want to pause and read the examples, I would suggest you do so. Your fallacy is straw man, misrepresenting someone's argument to make it easier to attack. False cause, presuming that a real or perceived relationship between things means that one is the cause of the other. Appeal to emotion, manipulating an emotional response in place of a valid or compelling argument. The fallacy, presuming that because a claim has been poorly argued or a fallacy has been made, that it is necessarily wrong. The slippery slope, asserting that if we allow A to happen, then Z will consequently happen too. Therefore, A should not happen. The ad hominem fallacy, attacking your opponent's character or personal traits in an attempt to undermine their argument. Tu quo quo, avoiding having to engage with criticism by turning it back on the accuser, answering criticism with criticism. Personal incredulity, saying that because one finds something difficult to understand, that it's therefore not true. Special pleading, moving the goalpost to create exceptions when a claim is shown to be false. Loaded question, asking a question that has an assumption built into it so that it can be answered without appearing guilty. Burden of proof, saying that the burden of proof lies not with the person making the claim, but with someone else to disprove. Ambiguity, using double meanings or ambiguities of language to mislead or misrepresent the truth. The gambler's fallacy, believing that runs occur to statistically independent phenomena, such as roulette wheel spins. Bandwagon, appealing to popularity or the fact that many people do something as an attempted form of validation. Appeal to authority, using the opinion or position of an authority figure or institution of authority in place of an actual argument. Composition, division, assuming that what's true about one part of something has to be applied to all or other parts of it. No true Scotsman, making what could be called an appeal to purity as a way to dismiss relevant criticism or flaws of an argument. The genetic fallacy, judging something good or bad on the basis of where it comes from or from whom it comes. Black or white, where two alternative states are presented as the only possibilities when in fact more possibilities exist. Begging the question, a circular argument in which the conclusion is included in the premise. Appeal to nature, making the argument that because something is natural, it is therefore valid, justified, inevitable, good, or ideal. Anecdotal, using personal experience or an isolated example instead of a valid argument, especially to dismiss statistics. The Texas sharpshooter, cherry-picking data clusters to suit an argument or finding a pattern to fit a presumption. Middle ground, saying that a compromise or middle point between two extremes is the truth. Now on to the cognitive biases we often all suffer from. Anchoring. The first thing you judge influences your judgment of all that follows. The sunken cost fallacy. You irrationally cling to things that have already cost you something. Availability heuristic. Your judgments are influenced by what springs most easily to mind. The curse of knowledge. Once you understand something, you presume it to be obvious to everyone. Confirmation bias. You favor things that confirm your existing beliefs. Dunning-Kruger effect. The more you know, the less confident you're likely to be. Belief bias. If a conclusion supports your existing beliefs, you rationalize anything that supports it. Self-serving bias. You believe your failures are due to external factors, yet you're personally responsible for your success. The backfire effect. When your core beliefs are challenged, it can cause you to believe even more strongly. The Barnum effect. You see personal specifics in vague statements by filling in gaps. Groupthink. You let the social dynamics of a group situation override the best outcomes. Negativity bias. You allow negative things to disproportionately influence your thinking. Declinism. You remember the past as better than it was and expect the future to be worse than evidence suggests it will be. Framing effect. You allow yourself to be unduly influenced by context and delivery. Fundamental attribution error. You judge others on their character, but yourself on the situation. The halo effect. How much you like someone or how attractive they are influences your other judgments of them. Optimism bias. You overestimate the likelihood of positive outcomes. Pessimism bias. You overestimate the likelihood of negative outcomes. Just world hypothesis. Your preference for a just world makes you presume that it exists. In-group bias. You unfairly favor those who belong to your group. The placebo effect. If you believe you're taking medicine, it can sometimes work, even if it's fake. The bystander effect. You presume someone else is going to do something in an emergency situation. Reactance. You'd rather do the opposite of what someone is trying to make you do. The spotlight effect. You overestimate how much people notice how you look and act. Again, you can find these at Your Logical Fallacy Is. I believe I said it wrong at the beginning. I'm sorry. The site is yourlogicalfallacyis.com. A couple books I recommend by Madsen Prairie, How to Win Every Argument, The Use and Abuse of Logic, and a great coffee table book, an illustrated book of bad arguments. Others are The Aims of Argument. They basically go through historical texts and analyze how arguments are made. And Being Logical, The Guide to Good Thinking. Thank you for watching. Keith Knight, Don't Tread on Anyone.